Welcome back to Professor Layton and the Unwound Future, Part 33. Our story so far. Our heroes divide into two groups and make a successful escape from the towering pagoda. Once outside, Luke, Layton, and Don Palo discuss Dimitri's ambitions and dark past. The discussion then turns to Don Palo and the source of his contempt for Layton. With many of their questions answered, the group heads to the hotel to meet up with Flora. So here we are back at the we're back at the clock shop on Midland Road, and we should now head down. And continue walking down. And also walk down. And now we are going to walk left. Right, I have my prepositions messed up. And enter the arcade because we're not going to meet up with Flora yet. And I believe we have a hidden puzzle somewhere here. Not hidden, but puzzle.
Oh, it's you two again.
Every time we see you, you have your nose buried in the paper. You must be really into current events.
That's the understatement of the year.
Just think, all the world's news is in here, these pages. How can I not read it all day long?
But there are already any pictures, and the print is so small. Doesn't it get boring?
Boring? The paper is bursting with interesting stuff. Like this puzzle, for instance.
Puzzle number 106, worth 20 picarats. The four numerical stamps are shown below are designed to fit into the three blanks. Squares. Let's start from the beginning. The four numeric stamps shown below are designed to fill in three blank squares and completes the equation. Only one digit can be used in each square. Your task is to make a valid equation using the fewest number of stamps to fill all three blank squares. Pick the stamp you will use by checking the box below and then tap submit. Okay, so right now, anything plus anything does not equal to anything. So, like, 1 plus, so memo pad, 1 plus 3 does not equal to 5 or 7, and 7 plus 3 does not equal to 5 or 1, so we must have to think of something. And I already have the idea. Since you can use 3 twice, you can make it 8, right? Looking like this, so here's your 3, here's your 3. By flipping and rotating that stamp, and so that's basically an 8. Doesn't look like one, but it is. And you can use your 5, and you can use your 3. So, the minimum amount of stamps that you need are 2, which is 3 and 5.
This one's as good as solved. I knew it!
Yatta! Correct. The 3 and 5 stamps are all you need. Okay. Okay, so now let's walk right. And walk left. And...
So, let me get this straight. Dimitri is building a time machine to go back to the past and save Claire?
Correct. Or at least that's what he said.
Funny. We ran through every floor of the pagoda and I didn't see anything resembling a time machine.
Excellent observation, my boy. Dimitri clearly had a destination in mind when we ran from the towering pagoda. I think he was heading to another base of his, the facility where he performs his time travel research.
Is that what you're going to look for while we scouted the tower with Don Palo?
Yes, in part anyway. I'll lay everything out for you once we check in with Flora. Until then, I challenge you to think about the situation on your own.
Sounds good, so let's enter the hotel.
And guess what? Let's go talk to Becky.
Oh, hi there, Becky. On your way out? Sure I am. That older gentleman staying with us asked me to run an errand for him. Do you mean Dean Del Mona? Yeah, that's the one. Do you know... what do you think a man with so little hair needs a tub of pomade for?
Pomade? To style that little tuft.
Weird, right? Still, you can't blame a guy for trying to stay stylish for his old age.
That is quite curious. He just never stuck to me as a pomade type.
Oh, and while we're on the subject of shopping trips, I actually have an issue I need help with.
Puzzle 131, a pricey pen.
I bought this beautiful one-of-a-kind fountain pen from a luxuriously boutique for 10% off the original price for only $3,000.
When I showed it to my friend, she took one look and just had to have it. She offered me to pay 10% more than I'd paid. I loved the pen, but I couldn't say no. Overall, how much did I gain or lose by selling the pen to my friend? Be sure to put a minus sign in front of your answer in case of a loss. Okay, so there are often traps in puzzles that use a lot of text to describe a fairly simple problem, and I'm sure this is one of them. None of the information given is wrong, right? I hope not, but there are some details meant to confuse you. How much did the woman originally buy the fountain pen for? And if you pay attention to that, you'll understand what the answer is. So the woman bought the fountain pen from the boutique for 10% off the original price. This has no bearing on whether or not she made a profit by selling it to her friend. Her friend offered 10% more than what she paid for the pen, so she's definitely going to make a profit, so we definitely know that she did not have a deficit. Why would you sell a pen to a friend if you would lose money yourself anyways? So the woman bought the pen from the boutique. So I see. So the pen was originally 10% off of $3,000. So after that, the price would be $2,700. And then she sold it for 10% of that price. So multiplied by 0.1. Or actually it's easier if we just multiply by 1.1. So 2700 multiplied by 1.1 is equal to, just do your math, $270, meaning she had a profit of $270. That's a terrible 2. What? Yes, that's my 7. And that's it. Submit.
I've got a good feeling about this one. Few things satisfy like a puzzle solved.
You got it. Puzzle number 131, a pricey pen. That is a very expensive pen. Is now in your puzzle index.
I knew you'd figure it out, Professor. You know, I had a question for Mr. Delmona, but he disappeared while I was looking. Oh well. Oh, and please don't tell him I was wondering about the deal with his pomade, okay? I'll even give you something to keep the matter hush-hush.
You got a new course, the toy car cleanup.
Oh, now it all makes sense. Don Paolo was posing as Dean Delmona. The pomade was for Don Paolo.
Precisely. Of course, he did away with that disguise once I persuaded him to assist.
Yeah, I can't imagine how shocked I was to see Don Paolo step out of that Professor Layton disguise.
Haha, that's life for you, Luke. You never know what surprises may await you around the corner. Let's be off. Okay, sounds good. So let's head up to the hotel.
Professor, Luke, welcome back. I'm so glad you're both safe.
The same to you, dear. Hopefully getting out of the pagoda wasn't too difficult for you.
Not at all. Big Luke was kind enough to lead the way.
Say, speaking of Big Luke, where is he?
Oh, well, Beckett's there. A mustache man was waiting down at the lobby.
A man with a mustache? Was he dressed in black?
Yes, that's right. He had a black uniform.
That sounds like Shipley to me.
Whoever he was, he walked right up and Luke started talking fast and furious. At some point during the conversation, Luke got a troubled look on his face and said,
Flora, some very important business has come up, so I need to go take care of it immediately. Please tell the professor to carry on with his investigation without me for now.
Did he tell you where he was going? No, but he did promise to meet up with us later.
Big Luke is even more perceptive than I thought. He knows exactly what our next move is. Professor, is something the matter? I'm just beginning to think back to what happened earlier. Do you remember who first told us that we could travel into the future?
Well, that'd be Big Luke, I believe.
Yes, that's right.
You have a professor.
You have a visitor, Professor. Oh, who is it?
Pardon the sudden intrusion, Layton.
Oh, Inspector Chalmy.
What can I do for you?
I've been thinking about something I saw while running into town. I don't know how to say this. I'm afraid it may sound a bit ridiculous.
What's ridiculous?
Well, it's just, I could have been mistaken, but I'm sure of this, what I saw. You remember our discussion about the explosion at the Institute of the Polydimensional Research? Well, a few minutes ago I spotted a woman on the streets who looked just like one of the blast victims.
Oh my gosh, you're talking about Claire, aren't you?
Then you know why I'm so...
Yes, Inspector, you're not alone. We've also seen the woman you spoke of. The resemblance she bears to Claire is striking, but it's coincidental. It has to be.
Yes, I suppose you're probably right. Forgive me, I wasn't thinking clearly.
Well, there's bound to be a logical explanation for this. If the similarity isn't coincidental, perhaps we can check if this woman's a relative of Claire's.
I'll take another look into her file and see if I can find out more about her family. Ah, and bye. Haven't seen Barton around here anywhere, have you?
Barton? Nope. Can't say I have, sir.
I swear if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be looking for him.
He'd been sacked from the force ages ago.
Courses, I'm rather fond of the fellow, and I intend to look out for him until I retire, but still, at any rate, if you see Barton, tell him his comrade officer is searching for him. Good day.
So, where's our adventure going to take us next, Professor?
Flora, this isn't an investigation.
This is an adventure, it's an investigation. Can't you try to make it more serious? I'm taking it very seriously, Luke. I'm just excited, that's all. None of us all get to go on these kinds of investigations all the time. Plus, you get to be with the Professor day in and day out.
Yeah, I guess the Professor and I are always together. Well, I, for one, am happy to hear your enthusiasm, Flora. The three of us will get to the bottom of this case together. Let's head out. Sounds good. And it looks like we'll be heading down the stairs.
Oh, heading back out so soon?
Yes, we are. But by the way, Becky, I've been wondering to see if somewhere nearby Oh, I cannot talk at all. Maybe I shouldn't do this Let's Play, but I will. Don't worry, my viewers. By the way, Becky, I've been wondering if there's somewhere nearby for us to cross the Thames.
There's a bridge, but it's quite a long way out beyond Chinatown. Excuse me, sir. Did I hear you say that you're trying to cross the Thames? Oh, grandmother, I didn't realize you were awake. There used to be an underground tunnel that you would go to across. It went clear under the Thames, and people would just walk on through to the other side. Wow, a tunnel under the river sounds amazing. Unfortunately, once the family gained control, they closed it down, the tunnel. Seagull might know a way in through, though.
Seagull? Oh, you do know him, right, sir? He's easy to spot with his uniform, blue hat, and scheming smile. We had quite the history, though. He spends most of his time down at the black market. Yes, I do believe we've met his friend of yours. You remember him, don't you, Luke? Luke? Where'd he go? He was just here just a moment ago.
Oh, are you two looking for Luke? He walked out a second ago.
By himself? But where could he have possibly be headed? Please excuse me, madam, but I have to find my friend. Thank you for your information on Seagull.
Not at all, sir. We're at the Hotel Duke are always delighted to assist our guests.
Okay, so let's go find Luke. But before we do that, we need to talk to Flora.
I'm worried, Professor. Where could have Luke have run off to?
I don't know, but I share your concern. It's unlike Luke to take off without so much of a word.
Maybe he decides to go on a secret mission on his own, like you when we went to the Towering Pagoda.
Well, regardless of his reasons, he shouldn't be out there alone. We need to search for him. Sounds good, but we need to talk to this family goon.
You better have a good reason for talking to me.
Sorry to bother you, but have you seen the young boy I've been traveling with?
The knobbly needs squirt with a blue hat?
Yes, that would be him.
Sure, I saw him come by.
Did you happen to see which direction he ran off?
Oh, I suppose I could tell you that, but it's all for free. Scratch my back and I'll scratch yours, okay?
Literally or figuratively? Figuratively. The chicken race, worth 60 picarats. Somebody's been racing chickens. Looks like it was a photo finish, but the photo's been torn to pieces. It's been torn in very straight edges, don't you think? I need to know which chicken came in 7th place. Can you figure it out? Circle the correct answer. Sounds good. No. So, from what I see, this is basically the very front of the picture. And what else can we infer? We can infer from starting at the finish line, examining carefully the pieces that fit together. And also, it looks like the pieces don't rotate, so we're all good. And this looks like the very top right corner. And, this is the bottom left. Let's see if we have the top right. I don't know where the top right would be. But because the pieces don't rotate, the finishing marks on the left edge of the photo. This means the piece with the chicken G and the piece of the far left middle go together to form the left side of the picture. I see. So, if we find the pieces that make up the right edge of the photo, we'll be able to see that chicken C, or chicken K, sorry, and chicken C were last place almost. Sounds good. And then that would mean that G would be first, then D, okay, then H, aha, and then L, M, and then, oh, I missed I, right? Yeah, I. Ah, I see, and E is the correct answer. What? How is that not possible? E. Yes, that is correct.
I've got a good feeling about this one.
Correct.
Well, that's settled.
Puzzle number 107 is now in your puzzle index.
Ah, now I can finally wash my hands of that puzzle. So, about that short friend of yours. That kid came out and walked towards Flatstone Street. Had the glummest expression on his face.
Interesting. So let's go walk right, I suppose. And guess what? It's Belle, but screw talking to Belle. We don't need to talk to her. Oh, and Inspector Chelmey's there, but let's not walk there. This is Flatstone Street, isn't it? So, let's go walk to the right. And oh my, I see Luke. Luke, there you are!
Oh, hi, Professor.
I see you've gone out for a stroll. Do you mind if I join you?
No problem. Sorry to run off. I was just thinking. We've had so much fun these last years, and I've gotten so used to going everywhere together.
Of course you have. After all, we're the best of friends. It's only natural if we'd spend time together.
Dad told me the other day that his job is transferring, so we'll all be moving.
Ah yes, your father mentioned that to me as well. Tell me, Luke, do you believe that we're true friends?
Of course I do. How can you even ask that?
Good. Then there's no need to worry. You see, true friends share a special connection, and this connection endures no matter how far apart they may be separated physically. Distance and time apart are irrelevant to bonds. I'm sorry. Distance and time apart are irrelevant to the bond formed by a true friendship. Do you follow?
I think I do, Professor.
Excellent. Then let's get back to our investigation. We've many mysteries to solve.
Sounds good, Professor.
Oh, it looks like you're back in high spirits, my boy. Now tell me, can you guess where we're heading next?
After thinking about it a lot, I'm guessing Dimitri fled wherever he's building his time machine. But the question is, where? We already know that the research lab isn't in the Towering Pagoda.
That's right, we must return to the clues we've gathered during our investigation of this London. Has anything we've seen around town struck you as suspicious?
Oh, I know what you're talking about. The men in white coats that we bumped into. Those were lab coats, no doubt about it. Perhaps those men are involved with Dimitri's research.
Excellent. Now let's think back about a bit more. We met several men in lab coats around town. Other than their garb, what else do they all have in common?
Oh, of course! They all had wet shoes and pants.
Yes, wet shoes and pants. Again.
So all of them must have come from somewhere near water.
Well, look, not necessarily water, but you should think that.
But where?
What about the themes? Maybe they're part of the underground railroad there.
Flora? What underground passage?
We asked the lady at the hotel how to get across the themes, and she told us that the tunnel is the right end.
Wow. Yeah, so we've met a few scientists around town in our time here, and though they haven't been very forthcoming with details, it's very clear where they'd be coming from. My suspicion is that these men work at a research facility located near the Thames, and that's why they come to town to refresh themselves after a long hour of research.
And you've had this theory the whole time, Professor?
It's been a working theory for a while, yes. After all, who goes around in soggy pants? We saw too many men walking the town in the state for me to write the whole thing off as a coincidence. Therefore, I can believe this research center is somewhere on the other side of the Thames.
Amazing! Clearly I've got a long way to go before I can think like you, Professor.
Alright everyone, we're heading back to the Black Market Bazaar.
Why there? If we aren't going to get across the Thames, shouldn't we head back to the Riverside area?
I'm sure we'll get there eventually, but first we've got to be talking to the man at the bazaar with the unibrow. I think his name is Seagull.
Okay, if you say so.
And I think I'll end my Let's Play here. Sorry for the really bad voice acting today, I cannot read it all, but I hope you enjoyed this episode, and until next time, bye bye.